Would you like to create your very first website using WordPress with Hostinger? Stick around, because going to be showing you how you can get started. Welcome everybody to TechSpress. In today's tutorial, we have a really exciting video for you, and this is how we can create an actual WordPress website with the Hostinger platform. So in this tutorial, we're going to be discussing different segments. As usual, in segment number 1, you're going to be discussing the introduction of the WordPress and the Hostinger. So why choosing Hostinger for web hosting? You're going to be understanding how to install WordPress directly from Hostinger, accessing a control panel, choosing and customizing your WordPress theme. Now we're going to be choosing and creating and organizing your website content, and of course optimizing your website for SEO and performance. Lastly, we'll be talking about ensuring website security and a few backups if we have a few time. So stick around, because this is going to be take a while. So let's begin. Now, before we continue, I'm going to be leaving you a link down below in the description so you can get a Hostinger access for a really great deal. So you have that link down below in the description. Now let's talk about why Hostinger is like the great tool and the best way to help you build an actual website in 2023. So WordPress is a powerful content management system, and Hostinger provides reliable and affordable hosting services. So in this segment, let's explain the basics and help you set up your Hostinger account. So if you click into the link down below that I just sent you into the description, you're going to be seeing something like this. Either you have to choose the premium, the business, or this is just a cloud startup. Totally depends on you. In this case, you wanted to choose a premium version. Now, if you wanted to check it out, what does the actual version come with it, you can always go directly into the plans of Hostinger and check out which one fits for you the best. In this case, what I wanted to do is to focus into an actual choose a period. Let's go for 1 month. Now, as you can see, we have the plan renewables at $12. We have 1 month, and in the upper side, we have $4.99 set up totally for free. So if you click into the link down below, then I'm going to leave you in the description. You're going to be getting up to 80% discount, so you don't pay for the actual whole price. In our case, let's pay for this price just to see how you can create an actual account of the Hostinger. It's really important that you choose hostinger.com. Inside there, we can be moving on into the WordPress, so we can use this tool to create an actual website in order to get started. So in this case, whether you wanted to create an account using your email as well as a passcode, or what you can do is to create one with your Facebook and your Google account. Usually what we actually do is to choose our Google account. So I choose here my Gmail, and then later on, all this information, this basic information has already been imported from my actual Gmail, so I don't have to sign up. So I skip that part, right? So I once again scroll a little bit down. I have the 1 month, so we can try it out, this one. So I scroll a little bit down. As you can see, you have to select payment. Now what you wanted to do here is to import your information. For example, here you have the credit card, you have the premium web hosting 1 month plan, and here is the actual setup. Here is my country, the taxes, fees, and here is the actual total. Lastly, here I just need to import my credit card and hit into submit secure payment. So I'm just going to fill this information and skip this part. So now, as you can see, we have the hello, help us provide a better experience for you by answering a few questions. So once you made a payment, it's going to be seeing something like this. I'm going to hit now into start now. Now it says, who are you creating the website for? In this case, let's go for I'm creating it for myself. I am building it myself. And lastly, which type of website do you want to build? So whether you can choose an online store, a blog, business, portfolio, or other type of business. In this case, let's say that we wanted to get started to publish some articles, updates, and let's say that I wanted to get started my very first online store. So you choose the very option that says online store. So I choose this one. Do you need any help building your website? So if you're a beginner, choose the option that says yes, please. If you're not, if you know what you're actually doing, choose no thanks. Now in this case, we would choose yes, please, because there are a few tools that are already been enabled for people who are just getting started, for beginners. So usually I wanted to enable those tools for, let's say, starters. So here we have the create or migrate a website. Since this is the very first website I'm going to be creating, what I wanted to do is to choose create an actual new website. So it's going to select, and now it's going to be asking you to select an actual platform. So whether you can select the Hostinger builder with artificial intelligence, or you can choose the WordPress. So both of them are actually really great. What I can totally suggest to you is to get started with the WordPress. Though Hostinger Builder with artificial intelligence is something that is actually brand new into the 2023. This one is an intuitive template design, fast loading site. You can start selling instantly. They have actually live support with the actual team. But what I wanted to do is to, let's say I wanted to familiarize with everything that has the actual WordPress comes with the actual, let's say the website builder. So let's choose WordPress, and I choose the option that says select the WordPress. So now it's going to be asking us to create a login details for my WordPress account. So here, choose English. Here's my administrator email. Really important that if you have a business email, add it here so you can use this for your team here. If you don't have one, then you can use your Gmail account as I'm doing here right now. So lastly, what I'm going to do here is to add my administrator passcode. I hit into continue. And lastly, now you can see that we have add plugins to your website. Now here into website, I do have by default the Monster Insight. This one is going to be helping us to try a few statistics of our website. So let's say, for example, how many people interact with our site. Usually, since you are creating an actual online store, or let's say like a blog, I'm going to actually enable this one. And now in here, you can just make some marketing plugins that assist in getting more email subscribers and growing to your business. Usually I don't enable this one. What I do actually wanted to enable is the one that says all into CEO, the Monster Insight. I enabled the fourth because I don't want to build contact forms for now. If you wanted to import your e-commerce website, you wanted to select on this one. And lastly, this is a really strong and powerful tool directed and created by Google, which is the Google Site Kit. Now, this one is going to be helping, let's say, creating more insights and help you to get more discovered directly from Google. Your actual website should be appearing to the upper side of Google. For example, let's say that I'm selling, let's say, shoes for men. Or I open a new tab here, for example. And what I wanted to do is to create, let's say, the name of my store. Let's go for Tech Express. And if I click into enter, the very first thing that appears into Google is a Tennessee Tech University. So what I want to do is to try to make Google help me that appears my website into the very first part of Google search results, which is going to be helping me a lot to drive much more traffic. It's really, really important that you enable that one. So I'm going to just go into continue. And now, which do you prefer here? Now, what you wanted to do, this is totally optional. You can just go for skipped, I don't need a temple, or you can show more. But usually what I do is to, let's say, like create like a visual of how it's going to be looking my website. And you don't have to worry about the elements that appears in here, let's say the design, but what you want to do is to make sure that you can use all of the tools that appears in here. For example, I can see they have a huge banner. We have here like a preview. So you can go here into preview so you can see how it's going to be looking the template. And if you like what you're seeing, if you like how does your actual website looks, you can go into continue, select and continue. So here have the links, the category hierarchy, HTML file. I hit now into select and continue. And now lastly, we have the automate your text creation with artificial intelligence. Now, this section from the artificial intelligence, once again, is totally brand new directly in this 2023. So what you wanted to do is to create your brand name, your business details. And actually this one actually works with ChatGPT. So let's say, for example, that we will generate a few content pieces for your website. So the brand name, it's called Tech Express Tutorials. Now, here into the description, I just wanted to do something short and precise. Since we're creating some kind of an online store and a quick blog from this YouTube channel for this, let's say for this tutorial, let's go here into the description and let's type a website that, let's say, create and helps people to develop an e-commerce dot. Scroll a little bit down and hit now into continue. Now, this is the part which you wanted to name your website. So whether you wanted to buy a domain or to use an existing domain. So if you don't have a domain, usually what you want to do is to buy a new one. Now here to enter the design domain name, for example, that I type into the name of our website, to our online store, which is TechExpress. If I hit into search, this one should be, let's say, showing me a actual provider. Hit now into search. For example, this domain is taken, but I can choose something else that is actually really simple. For example, techexpress.cloud or techexpress.xyz, express.website, express.blog, techexpress.fun. So usually this is something that you have to pay, of course, extra, but usually there's not a lot of stuff to pay for the very first year. For example, here you can see that I needed to pay only $1 per year. Now later on I can pay this, for example, $20, $13. That really depends on how you want to do, move on to the next domains. But if you think that you can move on into some alternative versions or into, let's say, like a free version of the domain, I wanted to go back and choose an existing domain, and you have your entity of domain in here. Once again, if you don't have one, it's going to be asking you to buy a new one or just to create like a new design here into hosting. So I go here into the alternatives here, more alternative. Now, as you can see here, we have the billing period. Usually what people do is to only pay 1 year. But if you think you're going to be sticking around really a lot here into Hostinger and into the WordPress section, I can strongly suggest you to go to up to 3 years, because at the end of those years, you're going to be paying up to $20 per year. But if you choose the very first option, which is actually this one, you're going to be just paying $1 per year. So that means that with taxes and fees, you're not going to be paying like a lot. So there you go here. I can choose the 3 years, I can choose the 2 years, or I can just only choose 1 year. Now here into the 1 year, you can see that I'm going to be paying only $1 plus the taxes and fees, which is 18 cents. But after that, I am no longer going to have an actual discount. So you want to make sure which one for you fits the best. So here I have the free domain privacy protection included, which is actually really great. After that, hitting to complete my payment. Since my actual credit card has been saved into my actual account, I just need to go into pay and the payments would be successfully here. So as you can see, it's going to go into next step. And there we go. Now select the primary details. What you're going to do here is really important that you choose the actual country you're currently living, because there are a few tools that are only available, for example, into the United States, into Canada. And if you try to use those into another country, this one is actually not going to be enabled into your actual website. So it's really important to choose the one that best suits for you. Now I'm going to choose my personal account. I'm going to hit into the next step. Now, lastly here, what you want to do is to type your last name. I have my email, the region, state, province, and here I have the city. Let's go for Mexico City in this case. Now my domain should be now registered automatically. Really easy to create. Now lastly, you have here the server, of course, of your location, your domain, your install CMS, the administrator email, and the choosing theme. So as you can see, we have the North America here. Here's our domain that we have just purchased for $1. We have the install CMS, which is in this case the builder, of course, is WordPress, the administrator email, and the choosing theme. Let's go first finish the actual setup. And this one, just like that, is going to be sending us directly into the dashboard of the Hostinger. Now Hostinger is going to be helping you to do absolutely everything you need to do into your website. That means the actual security, that means the CSSL, that means the domain, that means the builder, and actually much more. So now into this new segment number 2, which is installing the WordPress directly into Hostinger. Usually, since we chose to, let's say, work with the actual WordPress directly into Hostinger, we don't have to do absolutely anything speaking about making the installation, but just to click into administrator panel. So as you can see, it says you're almost there. Your content generation by artificial intelligence is on the way. So meanwhile, select your next step. In this case, what I wanted to do is to make the installation and move on into WordPress. So we wanted to get started with the actual website builder using WordPress right away. So I'm going to hit into the left part. It says administrator panel. You can manage this site later with the actual Ghost Hostinger. So you don't want to focus a lot in that. Let's move on into added your website with the actual WordPress. So I'm going to click here into administrator panel. And as you can see, it says awesome, you are amazing. Thank you for installing this new theme. So I'm going to hit now into install and activate this actual plugin. And as you can see now, we have this new dashboard. It can be helping us to get started with our website published. So what I'm going to be doing here is to close actually this one. This is like a preview of the website section. Of course, the dashboard. I'm going to try to reload the page so I no longer see stuff that I want to actually see. So what I want to do now is to get started with uploading my logo. So it says create logo, go to the customize page and upload your actual logo. If you don't have a logo, you can choose the artificial intelligence logo maker. This one is going to be sending you directly into this new section of the artificial intelligence by the actual hosting. So tell us about your brand. Since we already have an actual domain, we have an actual everything here, this actually comes with our actual plan. So for example, once again, I'm going to import the same thing. For example, the brand name is Tech Express, and here we are a small company that focuses into creating content to start an e-commerce business. We have only one credit to use for free, but if you add more details of what you're actually trying to look for, the hosting artificial intelligence generator is going to be helping you to provide something really, really easy. So here we have the extract icon. You can create like a breeze eyes icon. You can choose abstract shape, lettermark, breeze eyes icon of 3D. That is totally depending on what you're actually trying to choose. So I choose generate and I hit now into continue. Now in this case, I have just been generating something really easy. For example, I have option number 1, option number 2, option number 3, and option number 4. This is totally something really, really easy, but I believe like for people who wanted to get started, it can be really useful. So hit now into download, and I'm going to choose compressed file. I hit now into save, and there we go. So what I want to do now is to go back, and let's go into got it. So usually what I do now is to import the logo that we had just generated from artificial intelligence directly into our actual section of, in this case, our TechExpress.cloud website. So I'm going to try to reload this page of the customized section. Now it says select site icon, select files. In this case, I go for the compressed file that we had just downloaded. And as you can see, we have two files here, the PNG file and the other one says Favicon. So what I want to do is to choose the PNG file, hit into select, and as you can see, we have something that we can choose to just move on. In this case, since this is like how it's going to be looking into my actual, let's say Google section selector, I choose this option, go into crop the image. So this is how it's going to be looking your actual website. So I'm going to hit now into, I'm going to go back, and there we go. So now what I wanted to do is to go a little bit back here. I'm going to try to reload the page actually, and I try to, let's say, save this. And now I'm going to hit into, back again, of course, into hosting. And as you can see, we have the control panel. Choose the one that says manage site into the right part, of course. And remember that we were actually back into the administrator panel of WordPress. So this is actually when it comes directly from WordPress. But if I go directly into the manage my site, you can see that we have now the dashboard of the hosting. So I'm going to just close this one. And as you can see, we do have, with the actual stuff that we just paid, we have here our premium web hosting active. We have our actual domain, and we have a few daily backups. Now, as you can see, we are now enabled. We have the free email to be, let's say, set it up directly. So I can choose the Titan free email. I'm going to choose the one that says select. And now it's going to be asking to, let's say, to get started to customizing this actually. So for example, here my email is administrator techexpress.cloud, and I have the actual passcode and this password recovery email, and now I have the email directly in here. I'm not going to be focusing a lot on that because I just want to be showing you how it's actually looking this one at the moment. So now into the hosting, what I wanted to do is to show you how does this actual new section works. So as you can see now, we do have this new section of the home boost, and we have the account action stuff that we needed to do in order to continue. Now we have the hosting section, we have the domain, we have the email section, and now you can choose websites. Now inside websites, you can see that we have all our actual websites enabled. In this case, we have the techexpress.cloud. If you wanted to check out how you can get started to edit your actual website, choose the option that says administrator panel, or to choose into manage, just in case you wanted to see how this actual section looks. So if I click now into hosting, you can see that we have premium web hosting sections. So remember that we have an actual domain called techexpress.cloud. It's going to appear in here into the hosting section, since Hostinger is the actual hosting plan that we just chose. If I hit into managed, this is everything, all the information that we can see that we are using to build our website. For example, the text ad usage, the nodes, this is the number of files and folders we have just created with Hostinger plans. For example, we have 15,000 stuff. Of course, these 1,000 stuffs are generated from the actual theme that we have chose. So it's really important that you wanted to make sure that you have enough information to add more stuff, especially if you wanted to add videos, blogs, and much more elements. Now I have the CPU usage, the RAM usage, the entry processes, IOPS, and lots of processes. So now I'm going to go all my way up. Now here into the emails, you can see the new emails. In this case, we have this one that we have, of course, active, but we haven't enabled this yet. So I think that I'm going to be not using this at the moment, but if you think that this one actually works for you to set it up correctly and right away, just go ahead, hit into manage and add your own information, create your own passcode and all that stuff. Now you choose domains, you can see that we have enabled one of those, which in this case is the techexpress.cloud. So this part is really important if you wanted to make the auto renewal, change it later, you wanted to transfer from an existing domain to another one. If you wanted to disable this one, or you think this actually did not work for you as expected, you can go into manage, delete it, or buy a new one. Now we have the BPS here into the upper side, right next to the domains. Now these hosting plans that we actually chose is the first one. So this actually for developers, people, you don't want to focus a lot in that because we actually don't have even like a small company. This is just totally for free to get started. So I want to focus a lot into the hosting plans. And lastly, we have the actual billing section. Into the billing section, you can see we have the auto renewal on. If you don't want it to get paid, to get charged later after your renewal date appears here, you wanted to go into renew now and just wanted to disable the auto renewal. I don't intend to renew this domain, and hit into submit and disable the auto renewal. So if you wanted to input like a feedback here because I do not like it, just hit in there, could submit disable auto renewal, and let's go and continue. So really important, guys, to choose the option that best suits for you. And now you can move on into the actual next step, which is the customization of your actual website. So once you have just waited a few minutes, what you can do is to go directly into your WordPress section. If you don't find this dashboard and you think that you don't find this host thingy, you don't have to worry about that. You can always go directly into the administrator of the WordPress. Let's say, for example, that I go into WordPress.com. So I just get into sign in, and here it's going to be asking you to access with an actual account. In this case, I use my Gmail account and the passcode that we had generated with Hostinger. And you can see now that we are inside the WordPress. Reload the page and make sure that the CEO is actually working. Everything is correctly working directly into WordPress. So as you can see, we have just already uploaded our very first logo, and we can continue to set up our actual site and move on into the actual next step, which is to preview our actual website. So before we preview our website, let's just to add a few stuff before we can make the preview how it's going to be looking though. Now edit a post description. I'm going to hit now into take me there, so we can go into post, check out the left part and the sidebar, edit the post and edit like a description. I'm going to hit into take me there. And this one is going to be sending you into post. So as you can see, I have posts that were generated, of course, with artificial intelligence, and actually doesn't look that bad. So for example, how to kickstart your career as an independent e-commerce seller, author ourselves, category blog, text, date, and details. So I'm going to hit it to edit. And let's see what the artificial intelligence did for us. So you're gonna hit now into next, and get started. So as you can see, these artificial intelligence since I told it that we actually created, we wanted to create some blogs. We have created now the Kickstart Careers in Independent E-commerce section. Are you a challenge designer looking to embark creating your online store, connecting the AO settings, and the snippet view, and all of that. So what is left to be done? I think all this information actually works for me, but I think that I wanted to add, let's say, for example, like a GIF, like an image, like a video, so I can try to, let's say, for example, double click in here. And now as you can see, I can close this one. And if I wanted to add something new, you can see that into the left part, we have the plus block side. So what I'm going to be doing here is to add the word says imaged. So I just choose the one that says in here like this. And then usually what I do is to insert a new version here into the blocks one like this. Convert to blocks. I go here. The block contains an assessment in, let's say, block recovery. I'm going to hit now into upload if you have your own custom image, but in this case, I don't have one. So I'm going to insert this from a URL. So usually what I do is to try to find a new image that can be helping me to boost or level up my actual information. In this case, I'm going to try to look out for e-commerce 2023 of Google and try to look out for the really great image that I can use for my actual channel or my website or my online store. Let's see, for example, this one. So I'm going to just go in here and copy the address like this. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to close this one once again. I close this one and this one as well. There we go. So now we were actually in here. I paste the URL and I hit now into apply. And voila. Now, as you can see, we have this image from the Google directly into our actual website. If you wanted to add like a text with the image, for example, you can just click in there and I click here. And let's say I'm going to go for getting started. There we go. So now what is left to be done here is just to edit something from my actual text here. So usually this is something that actually works from a lot of people here, but what I do is just to leave this text in blank because I don't want to see this. I just wanted to see the actual image here. I hit into update and there we go. Now create your online store. Usually what I do with the tiles is to pull these align into the center like this. There we go. Or I can choose Control A and convert all of them into blocks so I can edit those later. Like this. So there you go. Actually, it works for us, right? So once again, I just delete this because I don't wanted to add like a new image. I just wanted to add like a new GIF. So let's say dancing GIF. And I have, for example, this one is a little bit funny, right? So you're going to copy this once again. I go back in here. I go here, expanding your reach. Double click, triple click. Choosing an actual block, or what I can do is to choose the forward slash, hit into image and search from URL, hit into apply, and there we go. So it looks great so far, right? So usually what I do now is just to save everything. Every time that I actually make like a few changes though, I try to save everything that I did here. So I'm gonna hit now into updating, and the post is now being updated. So there we go, it actually looks great. So now usually what I do is to just make sure that it's actually working for me, this new blog section. So this is just a blog. I just want to make sure that I have the right information, the right images, and all the valuable content that can be really available for all my customers. So now that I have all this element created, usually what I do is to go back into WordPress once again. So now what I wanted to do now is to just leave this like that, since we have already been added my new post description. And let's go back into hosting up, and down here it says upload an image. So find the media page, upload an image, edit an image, hit into gallery, because we have already done that. Now edit your site title, go to the customized page, access the site identity, and edit the title. So this is something that we actually do commonly really easy. So if you go here into site identity, do you remember that we're actually in here because you wanted to actually edit our actual icon, right? So you're going to click once again into site identity, and instead of just going directly into the actual logo, I'm going to try to change the site title. So yes, we have the TechExpress.cloud, but I'm going to try to actually delete all of this. And let's go for TechExpress. Now tagline, let's go for make your content now, for example. And there we go. I'm going to hit now into published, and it's working. So I hit now into X, and everything should now be created and generated right away. So usually here, if I go back into Hostinger, now it's going to be asking us to add a new page. To add an actual new page, what I want to do is to go into the Take Me though. This one should be taking you into this new section of the general social schema, linked assistance, redirects, CEO revisions, and advanced tools. So usually what you just need to do, let's say for example, I wanted to add like an FIQ section, frequently asked questions for tech team. Now here, once again, fast /, and you can choose to add like a gallery of images, media library. And let's say for example that I choose this one, for example, create a new gallery, insert my gallery, and it's added automatically. So usually what I do now here in order to move on is to hit into published. Now we haven't designed anything yet, speaking about the template of my website, but we have the get started already been created here into the host thing. So usually what I do is to preview my website, and as you can see, since we are just getting started with an actual blog section, you can see that we have the title, we can see that we have all of our actual blogs generated and created. And if you wanted to see how it's actually looking your blogs, let's see for example the one that we have just edited here. I have this blog, how to kickstart your career, and it actually looks really great. What I do love about this kind of website generator is that this actually moves really fast. And this is totally depending on how much element and how much optimizing you have your actual website here into your actual WordPress, which in this case is the host thing. So could you just go back here once again into the host thing. This one actually sent me into the Monsters Insight. Now this is some Google Analytics plugin directly from WordPress. So we just need to enable this before you wanted to move on here. So in this case, this is a publisher. You can save and continue, connect the Monster Insight, and really important to continue and connect your Google account. So I choose this option, I hit into continue, and I hit into allow. And let's go and select your property. You can create your very first one if you are interested in. Hit into finalizing the authentication. Please do not close this window. We're finalizing your authentication with Monster Insights. Really important. Sometimes it might be a little annoying, but it's going to be really useful in the future. If you wanted to check out how many people clicked into your website, how many people interact with your content, how many people subscribe to our website, and all of those elements. So as you can see, now we have a few recommendation settings, for example, add events tracking, enhance with linked attribution, file download tracking, and all of that. That is totally up to you. You want to improve or enable all of those options. Hit now into continue, and now after that, you're actually good to go. Now in this case, what I want to do is to just wait a few seconds here, and later on you can exit the actual setup. Now, if I go back here into the administrator panel of the actual WordPress, you can see that into the left part, we can see all the plugins that we have just generally added. For example, we have added here the Moses inside. I'm going to scroll a little bit up, and I have the all-in-one CEO. Now, all-in-one CEO is going to be helping you optimize your website. So I'm going to close this one, launch the setup wizard, follow the next steps. And as you can see, since we already have an actual plan directly from WordPress, you don't have to pay anything in here. Remember that into the left part, you can see all the plugins that were installed into your actual website. For example, we have the G-Site Kit. Remember that the G-Site Kit was something that was going to be really useful for you guys to get started to connect, activate your Google Analytics to track how much traffic you're getting and how people are actually navigating through your actual site. So if you want to accept this ad, just get into connect here, sign in with your Google account. I am not going to be focusing a lot on how you can connect your account, because usually what you just need to do is to have a Google account, hit into enable, continue, create. In this case, we already have an actual property account directly from Google, so I'm not going to be focusing a lot into that. So now, since we actually chose the Ocean WP panel, you can see that we have the My Library section, and we actually don't have any template because we're actually wanted to create our very first one, since we already paid for one of those. And once again, if you have something already been generated from your actual WordPress, you can choose to download an actual template or to choose another plugin that can be helping you to get started. Once again, totally for free. And for that, what I would be doing here is to go just a little bit back. I'm going to go into plugins, which in this case, I'm going to scroll a little bit down here into plugins. And you can see that I'm going to just close this actually. Close once again. And now in here, I'm going to hit into add new. And usually there's actually a lot of plugins, but usually what there's a lot of people do to create or to customize their theme is to add something called Elementor. So this Elementor website builder is going to be helping you to have everything just in one place. So hit into install. And after the installation has been created, you hit into activate. I hit into activate, and this one should be taking me directly into the Elementor website builder. So it says you're here. Let's set things up. So I can create my account. Once again, creating an account is actually really easy. But if you don't want to create an account, what I do mostly is just to sign in with my Google account. So here I'm going to hit now into continue with Google. Enable the very first option, choose my account. Really important to choose exactly the same account for all my actual websites. Otherwise, it's going to be generating a lot of websites from other stuff, and I don't want to be focusing a lot into that. So I'm going to hit into every site starts with a theme. Usually what they do is to, let's say, gave us an actual theme totally for free. So I just hit into continue. We already have an actual logo, so I import it. Let's see, for example, it's actually this one. I hit into select and hit into next. That's a grab. What is next? Let's go for browse from 100 templates or import your own. And usually what I do is to try to find something that is actually totally free. And here I click for kids by plan. I hit into this one, and I hit now into, let's see, for example, the ceramic studio, and I hit into apply the actual cat. So usually what this kind of actual plugins are like the tool, the magic that can be helping you to get started with the creation and the design of your actual website. Once you enable, once you active, once you set it up an actual template directly from, in this case, Elementor or whatever other plugin you chose through your actual WordPress, you're now going to be enabled to your actual kit, in this case, my website, my new website, and my new design. So I hit into enabled, and it says setting up your kit. This usually takes a few moments. Don't close this window until the process is finished. So I'm going to just skip this part until this process has now been created. It says your kit is now live on your site. You have imported and applied following to your site. So I have the site area, the site settings, and the actual content. So I'm going to hit now to see it live or hit into close. That totally depends on you. I'm just going to close this, for example. And there we go. So usually what I do is now to go back here into this new section of my dashboard. and I can now start to see how it actually looks my new website with the same element that we have just created, but now with a new site, a new actual design. And we have here our logo, and we can make the customization of that with the actual template we could just generate it automatically. And what I do love about templates is that we have even the actual animations working correctly. So hitting to customize, and this one should be taking you into the customization of the website, so you can just change what you don't want her to see or what you actually want her to see and all of that. So this is how, guys, we can actually move on into this actual hosting and into this actual WordPress. So now moving on into the customizations and of the CEO of your actual website, it's really important that you guys go directly into the analytics, so you can check out if you inside reports, revenue, all of the information that was provided to your actual website in order to see the performance of your actual website, especially if you're actually working with sales, net sales, orders, product sales, and much more. For example, here we have charts, we have leaderboards, what other products are actually working there. WooCommerce actually is going to be helping us to import products, so we can make those stuff in there. Adding WooCommerce payment here into the upper side can be helping you to, let's say, scale up your actual account and all of that. And lastly, we have the marketing tool here down. It's going to be helping you to add extensions that can be helping you to incentivize your website to build much more audience. For example, TikTok for WooCommerce, Pinterest for WooCommerce. We have added Google listing and ads, and we can discover more marketing tools. For example, MailChimp, that can be helping you to create campaigns, recover abandoned cards, hack bio, creative mail, and all of those here. So usually what I do, lastly, we have just checked the security and the CEO. If you want to check more information, you're not going to be, let's say, moved on with all of these elements. You can choose more plugins that can be helping you to move on and to scale a little bit more your actual website. For example, we have the all-in-one CEO that can be helping us to add post type, CEO for blogs, business side, e-commerce side, much more downloadable stuff. So usually what we actually do here is to go into the search and install plugins, or go into add new. And usually what I do is to go here into the popular section. It's going to be helping us to move on and see which one can help us to move on into, let's say, to the next level for our website. For example, Yoast CEO. This is something that can be helping you to, let's say, improve a little bit much more your CEO of your actual website. Let's say that this one is going to be helping you to appear into the very upper side of Google, can be helping you to make your website a little bit more faster and much more elements. So this is how we can get started with the actual WordPress created and managed by the actual host Stinger. If you wanted to check out all of these new tools, you want to manage all your stuff, you have to do this directly into the host Stinger section. You wanted to make sure that all of the description, the website, the hosting emails are up to date. And just in case that you are not sure that this actual host Stinger works for you, if you think it's really difficult for you, the website builder of the host Stinger is not working, you can try to delete your account. You have 90 days here, but once again, with a link down below, you have 80% discount. So I think it's really great, valuable to get started with host Stinger. Once again, creating an actual website is really easy using some stuff. For example, the branding section, the website of your new website directly from host Stinger is actually the key that can help you to improve a little bit more your website. So hopefully, guys, it was a very useful video for you. You now know how to use host Stinger. You now know how to manage that stuff directly into WordPress, and of course how to create and design an actual store. Moved on into the CEO, a few security tips, and of course the powerful strong tools of the actual plugins. So once again, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys, if you want to see more great tools of the hosting of WordPress. Both are really great applications and tools that can be helping you to scale a little bit up your actual website and your company and your branding, of course. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. See you next time.